back to Life on Two Wheels. This has clearly been a difficult year. Thank heavens it's drawing to a close, and we're all hopeful that 2021 is going to bring us some relief from the pandemic and some of the other um, aspects of life in 2020 that made things more challenging than they had been at any time in our previous lives. What does it mean to shelter in our homes? After a while, it can become tedious and repetitive and annoying. If we're not able to get out to do the things that we used to be able to do that would distract us from the day-to-day mundane routines of life, like going to a restaurant or the simple activity of going shopping, walking through a shopping mall, and so on. If these things are denied to us and we're stuck in our homes, it becomes more important that our homes offer us the best refuge that they can. Susan and I have been very, very fortunate, and for a long time we have collected art. And the walls of our home have been largely occupied by the works of art that we've collected. I've wondered over that period of time, what is it about a work of art that causes it to endure? That you enjoy it at the time that you decide to buy it, but it remains enjoyable as you live with it and the years go by. And the conclusion I've come to is one obvious thing is that the work has to be enjoyable. When you look at it, from whether it's the first time or whether it's the 10th or the 100th time that you've gazed at a work of art, if it has maintained an element of enjoyment, that makes it good art. And most of the art that we've collected fits into that category. So I've wondered over time, what is it that distinguishes art that's good and that maintains its value? And when I'm talking about value, I don't mean economic value, because our collection is very modest. But what causes it to retain that value, that when you look at it, you enjoy it, as opposed to a work of art that you get tired of and eventually begin to resent and get rid of? That has not happened to us too often, but it has happened. And so it's a mystery. What is it that distinguishes the work of art that is good from the work of art that fails in its mission to make us happy over time? And the conclusion I've come to is that first and foremost, the colors, the mix of colors, the use of line, the subject matter of the work of art are all important in the equation that creates value. In addition to that, the most important ingredient in some ways is whether the work conveys an element of emotion along with the color, the line, the textures, and the implicit motion in the work. Interestingly, none of the work in our collection is portraiture, and so there are no detailed portraits, no images of the human face. The reason for that is that only the very best artists, I think, can convey human expression, the expression on our faces, in a convincing way. What you see here is part of my collection. They're all portraits in some respect. None of them are on our walls, and I'll explain that in a second. There are more ways to enjoy art than go out and buy it or acquire it. You can acquire it by photographing art when you go to a museum or to a gallery, with the permission of the museum or the gallery owner, obviously, which I always am careful to get. And I developed a technique which involves photographing only the work itself and eliminating or cropping out the frame. And I do that with the camera, and this has allowed me to collect a substantial amount of images of art that I use as screensavers not only on my computers, but on the 2 television screens that we have in our home. Those screensavers add an element, an artistic element to our home that we could never hope to afford, because there are literally, if we had to buy all those works of art, it would be millions and millions and millions of dollars in terms of value. So we not only have the kind of the art that we could afford that's part of our modest collection, we also have the work that I have collected over quite a period of time by simply photographing it when we see it. Another way to bring art into your life is to go out and experience it. You can do this in museums, you can do it in galleries, or you can do it in even more extraordinary ways. Susan and I recently were very, very lucky because there's an exhibit that came to Toronto called the Immersive Van Gogh exhibit. I believe that's the name. And there were two ways that you could view this, or you could have the experience. You could do it as a drive-through or drive-in event, where you brought your car into a very, very large space, and the art was then projected on the walls and the floors, along with a soundtrack. Or alternatively, you could walk through the exhibit. If you bought the ticket for the drive-in exhibit, you also were entitled to the ticket for to get a ticket for the walkthrough exhibit. So Susan and I did both, and it was truly, it was immersive, and it was a marvelous, marvelous experience, which you see here. Not all of us can afford to spend that kind of money to see an ephemeral exhibit, but there are other ways to view art. And in a neighborhood close to where we live, 6 or 7 homeowners got together and they decorated their homes. They choreographed the lighting with music that was broadcast on an FM channel. So you could tune in the FM channel, drive down their street, and appreciate what they had done with their holiday lighting. And that is art as well. And so there are a number of ways, not all of them expensive, that you can immerse yourself in art, surround yourself with art. It certainly provides us with a degree of emotional comfort as we take refuge in our home that we would not have but for our art appreciation. If you do like this video, in addition to giving it a thumbs up, please subscribe to this channel. You'll see that there's a variety of content. There's something perhaps for more than one type of person in the videos that I've recorded. And also you can visit the blog. On the blog you'll find the motorbike touring guide, the gear guide, and a lot more. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time on Life on Two Wheels.